The number cannot be reached now. Please hang up and try again later.
Okay, welcome back to His Loss Hotline. I know we took a break last week. I was very, very busy. I visited my nieces. Shout out my sister and her husband. I almost used her nickname, but I don't know if she would want me to use her nickname. Okay, I'm gonna do it. CC Dumbfuck. Shout out, girly. Yeah, welcome back. This episode gonna be a little crazy. Not crazy with confessions, but crazy with the truth. But this is where we don't chase closure. We block it. I'm Kelly, your hotline operator, recovering apology collector, and proud graduate of the School of Men who swore they changed and did the exact same thing again. We all know him. But today's topic, if you couldn't have guessed, it's the myth, the legend, the reason half of us still have our exes muted instead of blocked. Closure. Or as I like to call it, emotional customer support service for men who don't even work here anymore. Because at some point, every one of us has said, I just need closure. And what we really meant was, I just need him to say sorry in a way that finally makes it make sense. Or get back together with him. But spoiler alert, it's never going to make sense. And most likely, you shouldn't get back together with him. But we'll get there, girlies. Don't worry. Let's start here. What the fuck is closure? Well, according to, I don't know, Webster's, I don't know, I just Googled it. I don't fucking know. It's a sense of resolution or conclusion at the end of an emotional process. I feel like most of this is mostly dealing with breakups, but also it can deal with a lot of other things. But I'm just talking mostly about breakups. And you know, that definition sounds cute, right? Sounds so mature. Sounds like something you'd get after a calm, rational talk over coffee. Except, you know, in practice, closure looks more like, you know, crying in your car outside of Chipotle. Are we still eating Chipotle? I don't know. Ever since they had that E. coli thing, sometimes I get it, but then I get a little scared. I don't know. But if Chipotle ever wants to sponsor, hit me up. Hit me up, girlies. I don't think I have enough people for them to sponsor, but, you know, maybe one day. And texting your therapist, should I respond to this or no? I don't know if that counts as like money on the clock for a therapist, but you know, Earl gets some texts from me or my family. I always feel bad. It's usually not for me. Spoiler alert. If you don't know who Earl is, he's essentially my family therapist. We talked about him in, I don't fucking know, every episode. 2 episodes or not 2 episodes. The second episode, maybe the third. I don't know. I name dropped him a while back. Whatever. But we treat closure like it's a formal ceremony. Like there's like a stupid ribbon cutting at the end of heartbreak. I just need closure. We say like it's a diploma after you get from like suffering. But in real life, it's like messy. No one hands you a certificate, and sometimes you don't get a period at the end of a sentence. Just an ellipsis and a new girl on his story. Fuck that. But we crave closure because it feels like control. Because if he just told us why, we could finally stop wondering. But the truth, I'm so sorry, girlies. Most of us already know why. We just hate the answer. And here's the sick part. Sometimes they do give closure. They send like the long message, the kind you screenshot, zoom in on, and send to all your friends. And you think, finally, they get it. And it always starts with something like cinematic. Like, I've been doing a lot of thinking, or you didn't deserve how I treated you. And you're like, oh my God, he went to therapy. No, baby. No, baby. 98% of chance he did not go to therapy. If he did, good. Most of the time, people can change. I do believe that. But most of the time, he did not go to therapy to change for you. If he's going to therapy, he's changing for himself. And most likely, he will not change at all. But the most likely aspect of this is he probably didn't even go to therapy. He probably watched a TikTok about attachment styles. Or, like my ex-husband, YouTubed it. And that was his, I'm not lying. That was his idea of therapy. But I don't know if we'll get into that later, but it's fucking crazy. But you start spiraling essentially when you get that text. You start pacing the room. Well, I did. Or rereading it like it's something like fucking holy, because he's saying everything you wanted to hear months ago, or you wanted to hear right now. The accountability, the regret, you're the one that got away, or you're my soulmate. And for 5 seconds, it feels like healing. It feels like maybe you can finally exhale, or even worse, get back together with him. But then what inevitably usually happens, he disappears again. Because that message wasn't for you. It was for him. It was like emotional, I don't know, PR, like a press release to make sure you don't think he's the villain. You wanted closure, and what you got was an apology that expired the second he sent it. Because some men say sorry not to change, but honestly to reset the narrative or to win you back. They want to feel like they're the good guy in your story, even though most likely they've wrecked the plot. And the hardest pill to swallow is this. Sometimes closure isn't the silence, it's the repeat performance. He says all the right things and does the same exact shit again, over and over and over again. And you're like, oh my God, I've seen this episode. Yeah, baby. It's because it's a rerun. It's a rerun. And I think like every girl has that one person who like keeps circling back. The I've changed guy. The I miss you energy guy. The I was in a bad place guy. Or my trauma guy. They're all the same character in different fonts. You forgive them. You believe them. You give them another chance because maybe this time it's different. I'm so sorry. And this is like, I feel so mean saying all this, but it's like the truth. And I just want the girlies to thrive. It's not this. It's not different this time, babies. It's not. 2 weeks later, he's either ignoring your text or liking his ex's stories or cheating or acting confused about your expectations. And now you're stuck between wanting to block him and wanting to make him understand you're not crazy. But you are crazy because you keep expecting a new ending from the same script. Closure doesn't come from another conversation. It comes from finally realizing that words without actions are just noise. And you also can't heal in a story that keeps repeating. And closure isn't what happens when he finally says the right thing to you. It's what happens when you stop needing him to. It's like a very hard pill to swallow, but I think it's what the girlies need to hear. But like, let's talk about real closure. It's not glamorous and it's not cinematic. It doesn't come with a soundtrack or we're both better now, hug in the rain or kiss in the rain. Like, I wish it was like movies and cinematic and like the man changes, or, it can be the girlies, but I don't know if there's a percentage out there of usually it's the man. I feel like it's relatively high. But real closure is anticlimactic. It's quiet. It's the moment you realize there's nothing left to fix. It's when you stop waiting for the message, the apology, the clarity, and you start accepting that maybe you won't get any of it. And it hurts like hell. Or at least it hurt me. But you have to realize that that is closure. Closure is when you finally admit the story already ended, even if you never got the last chapter. It's walking away from a half-built house and realizing you don't have to live in it just because you helped lay the foundation. It's not peace, not at first. It's confusion and then boredom and then detachment and then, in there's also sadness and grief but like one day it's just peace. But the kind that like sneaks up on you while you're folding laundry or laughing with someone new or realizing you don't remember his middle name anymore. Closure is deciding the story ends where it stopped making sense. It's knowing what you wanted from him you can give yourself now. Accountability, honesty, compassion, loyalty. Because if he really meant the words in that long text, you'd see it in his actions. You wouldn't need to decode it. You wouldn't need to reread it. You wouldn't be here still wondering what it meant. You would know. And if you don't, that is closure as well. Here's kind of how I like to think about it and how an extensive amount of therapy has got me to think about it. Closure isn't a conversation. It's a boundary. It's when you stop looking for answers in people who've already showed you who they are. Sometimes you have to accept the plot hole. Not every story wraps up neatly. Some just end. And it's okay if it feels unfinished. You can finish it without him. Your closure is in the growth that came after. In the fact that you don't need to prove you were right or misunderstood or deserving. You know you were. And it takes a long time to get there. Or at least for me it did. Because I didn't think those things of myself. But like, the chapter doesn't need a conclusion if the lesson has already landed. And the lesson is, you don't need his permission to move on. And you also don't need his words to move on. So if you're still waiting for that text, that call, that perfect moment where he finally explains why, you can stop. Please, for the love of God, stop. Because real closure isn't something you get. It's something you decide. You decide it's over. You decide you've seen enough. You decide you don't need to rehearse the ending anymore. The figurative call is disconnected. You can hang up. I wonder where we get our name. You can hang up. Girl, hang up. Please, for the love of God, hang up. But I know this week's episode wasn't like the fluffy, fun, spirally kind. It's the more honest and truthful kind. But I think it's something all of us need to hear. At least, my therapist reminds me when I would be begging him for my ex to, give me closure. Why did he do this? Why did he do this to me? Like, I already knew the answer. And you do too. But I hope you enjoyed this episode. I know it was a little rough. So sorry, girlies. I love you. Follow his loss hotline wherever you listen to your podcast. On social, we're at Girl Hang Up on Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, I think Facebook. I don't know. We're fucking everywhere. Girls, please. That sounded really weird. Whatever. But we have like weekly spirals or breakup memes or unsolicited emotional support from your favorite divorced best friend. That's me, hopefully. But new episodes drop every Tuesday, except last week. But you know, and if you're still tempted to text him, don't. For the love of God, don't. But just come hang out with us instead, wherever you want to. We'll be here for you. And please, 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 please remember, it's his loss.
I'm sorry, but the person you called has a voicemail box that has not been set up yet. Goodbye.